has to be a semblance of, well, there has to be a better way to do this. And I'm not saying I know the answer today. I don't. I think it's going to take a lot smarter people than me to sit down and try to work this out. But this is, to be honest with you, if this is entertainment, shoot me now.
They shoot horses, don't they? That's Anthony Moyles in Croker for us yesterday. Tommy Rooney was also in Croker yesterday as a fan, as a supporter.
I was.
How are you?
I'm alright.
Chastened?
Yeah, it's tough, lads.
Did you make it further than the Dubs who left after the 57 minutes?
I waited until the very, very end of the match.
I couldn't tell if they were Dubs or Meath fans.
There was a lot of Dubs, even.
Was there, yeah?
Oh, a lot of Dubs.
Are you sure they weren't getting shelter from the rain?
If they were, fair play, but like no problem with that. But poor Stephen Cluxton didn't have many people to talk to at the end of
He didn't, did he?
The end of the game. Yeah, no, it was tough. I got really exercised maybe 2 or 3 times in the first half. I haven't done that in a while in Croke Park. Got really exercised. Once I was probably completely wrong.
Just one.
And then I realised that there was a couple of Meath fans sneering at me from behind.
Oh no, your own fans sneering at you.
I just shut up after that. There was a young Dublin lad in front of me who looked around twice with his mouth open going, why is he getting so angry?
What were you getting angry about? Refereeing?
I actually watched it back there to make sure I was right. No, it was just like some of the, it was like, off the ball fouls and stuff. They were just going and linesmen looking at it, and it really annoys me when a linesman sees something and doesn't call it, because some linesmen will call it and some don't. I don't know why they didn't call it. There was an incident in the first half, 6 minutes in, James McCarthy gets a shot blocked down, and when you pause it, it's like 5 minutes and 54 seconds, 3 Dublin fouls happen immediately. It's genius, and they do so well. I'm not saying that's the reason, but that's why I got exercise 6 months into the game.
So you're saying that they were systematically fouling?
That's the whole game.
When the ball broke down to stop.
They're just so good at it. Yeah, they're just so good at it. But Dublin were playing at a snail's pace. I said it in the Kildare game, it was a Byrne Cup football for Dublin, and it was the same again. They were just strolling around the place. It was patronising to watch.
In the first half?
In the first half, yeah. And even in the second half, if Meath, look, we know that 4 points is awful. But
right.
They have a 50-50 chance now of getting a really good draw to make it into the Super 8s.
Yeah, today's been a good morning for me.
A really good morning
I don't know. I mean, you wanted to, if you are a beaten provincial finalist, I think you wanted Tyrone to play Mayo, because I think Meath would fancy their chances against Armagh and Kildare in a way they won't fancy the chances against Tyrone and Mayo.
No. Armagh are flying. Armagh are they're the team. Mayo have such a tough draw against Armagh. They're so cocky. They're the perfect qualifier run so far. If you can get Westmeath or Clare Leash Rofley and you get into the Super 8s, Meath have a great chance of making enough progression to be competitive in games next year in Division 1. And that's all they're trying to be next year.
Yeah, they would go to Ballybuffet on week 1, which obviously would be a bit of a rude awakening to the Super 8.
But Meath lost to Donegal by 2 points in a provincial ground. By 1 point, 2 years ago. Meath aren't that bad.
And also the start they made against Donegal in the league final has to give them hope. But that also kind of, you look at that league final, if you're actually using that as a real form graph, and you look at what happened in Croke Park yesterday, and you're thinking about us talking up Donegal as All-Ireland contenders to Dublin as well. It just doesn't make sense.
No, so Donegal are a 2-year-old horse.
So well balanced.
Who have, as soon as the ground has got better, they've massively progressed.
Yeah.
Meath have been stuck because everybody in Leinster is stuck because you always have Dublin on the horizon, and you're always worried about what's going to happen, and you're constantly thinking about trying to beat Dublin, when actually you should just be thinking about, here's our philosophy, here's how we're going to get better, and this year we'll make some progress, and next year we'll get even better. But instead it's legs chopped from under you, a guillotine to your brain, because you are up against a superpower.
Yeah, I'm not sure Meath ever had a way of beating Dublin in 2019. They did what they had to do, which is to get to Division 1 football, which is what the county has been crying out for so many years. And if they can get to the Super 8s, they have a chance of bringing on a group of players who desperately need to play in football like that. I don't think they had a plan to beat Dublin yesterday. I really don't. They had James Conlon, who's just over 5 foot, in the full forward line in his own. Meath's game is based around getting scores from runners to deep. And yesterday, their runners, the likes of Donald Keoghan, Brian McMahon, Killian O'Sullivan, they just couldn't get going. The start of Graham Riley yesterday, I just wouldn't have done that.
But it seems unusual to say that they don't have a plan. We had Colin Nally in here a few months ago, and he obviously has a huge depth of resources about how to beat Dublin.
That wasn't Meath's challenge this year.
It doesn't strike me as a guy who would go into a game without a plan.
I'm not saying they didn't have a plan, but I don't think they had a way of beating Dublin this year. They had no options. They just had no options, and it's desperately unfortunate that they kicked 4 points and it looks so bad, but they aren't that bad. Like, that's a freakish result. I've never seen statistics like that before. 9% shooting accuracy in the first half, 18% overall. Like, you get 20% from frees, 1 from 5. It's insane, like, those stats.
Yeah,
it's a freak.
Yeah, so
it's a freak.
I mean, I think that they could have given Dublin a game if...
But they did they kept them scoreless for 10 minutes. Tell me another team is going to keep them scoreless for 10 minutes.
I think, well, to be 4 points down at half-time is something that every manager in the country, I think, would probably bite your hand off, and it might be the wrong thing to do because you probably need to have a half-time lead if you're going to beat the Dubs. But like 4 points at half-time, not that big a deal, right? You're like, okay.
They hit the post three times as well.
Well, and so as soon as those balls hit the post, you're like, well, that's it. That's the ball game because they've got to go over.
Yeah. Now, I'm sure all the supporters watching were the exact same, and I'm maybe on the field it's the same as well. Like, when those shots are hitting the post and they're shots that you should be scoring. Like, Meath took one shot from outside the 45. They weren't taking shots from outside the scoring zone, as you'd say. They were around the D, and like, one of their main problems, as I said, was getting the ball into Conlon. Like, Conlon was being man-marked by Michael Fitzsimons and had either Philly McMahon or Keane O'Sullivan in front of him the whole time. Like, Dublin are very good defensively.
He had a beautiful bit of skill at the start of the second half, and it looked like he just kicked it, and then next thing, it falls into Cluxton's hands. You're like, oh.
James Conlon will be a quality footballer, but they needed a ball winner inside in the full forward line, and I don't think they had one in terms of what exactly they needed. Maybe Mickey Newman should have been left inside, but they're just missing. The thing with Donegal and the thing with Cavan, and when I look at me going out into the pitch, and I think they're missing, is the conditioning and the physicality of some of these teams. Like, Donegal have huge men, Cavan have huge men, even though they didn't start 2 of them against Donegal, which is weird, but like, they have such big men in comparison, and Meath are actually missing probably 3 or 4 lads who are around 21, 22 who have played inter-county football and just aren't there. Like, Kildare have huge men, and I think if a county like Meath is missing 3 or 4 inter-county quality players, they haven't got a chance.
So just a recap of the draw: Kildare against Tyrone, Mayo against Armagh, Westmeath versus Clare, and Laois versus Offaly.
They have given the venues as well.
They have?
Yeah, it's Castlebar for Mayo Armagh, Newbridge for Kildare Tyrone.
It is?
Yeah. And Westmeath, Clare's in Mullingar, and Laois Offaly is in Portlaoise. So that's going to be great games. It'll be brilliant.
That's an insanely tough trip now for Tyrone all of a sudden. The Mayo thing, you just don't know at Castlebar. Is that a good thing or a bad thing for them in Championship football at the moment?
Does Sky have that game?
I think they do. But Sky forfeited the ability to show Monaghan Armagh last weekend, or perhaps the Mayo game, so that they could show an extra one of these games or an extra Super 8 game, I'm not sure. So they'll be happy with that draw as well. And it is a tie of the round. Like, I'm not sure what you're looking at there from kind of the beaten provincial finalist perspective now, but you are obviously looking for Westmeath, Clare, Offaly or Laois. Does that then kind of dilute what you're getting into the Super 8s a small bit? That's the team they have to beat to get in there. Are we going to get the strongest possible outfit? Clearly not, because like one of Mayo or Armagh is not going to make the Super 8s.
Like, the likelihood is you're going to have Galway, Kerry, Donegal and one other. Like, if Meath can get into that group, they're not going to probably beat any of them, but like, they're going to give them games, and I think they're going to bring them on an awful lot. I don't think it's any bad thing if Meath get into the Super 8s. I think it's a great thing for Meath. Dublin, Roscommon, Cork, Cavan, like, I don't know who's that going to be. I don't know what that draw is going to be like. Like, if Mayo make it into Dublin's group, it'll make it very interesting. But if Mayo don't make it into Dublin's group, I think that Super 8's group is going to be fairly bad.
Which group?
The Dublin, Roscommon, Cork or a qualifier, Cavan or a qualifier.
Well, unless it's Mayo and Tyrone.
Yeah, that'd be box office.
That'd be all right.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But it could easily be terrible.
It could be bad. Well, Group 2 is going to be great.
It could be Cavan, Cork, Roscommon.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
We were saying earlier, 12 point, 15 point, 18 point spreads for some of those games in the Super 8s.
It's crazy.
Like, Dublin, Cork,
but like
in Croker.
I've watched Dublin twice now in Croke Park, and like, it just can't be good for them. It really can't be good for them. I know you're talking about Cormac Costello and Dean Rock coming on and maybe putting them under pressure, but like, geez, like, it cannot be good for the Dublin players to be motoring through it in such a laissez-faire kind of attitude in the pitch.
Like, when you say that they go through a game like yesterday with kind of their foot off the gas a small bit, is that the way they've always been in these sort of games? Is this not the perfect opportunity for them to try certain things, because they have essentially something that they can work with? They have complete full reign on with the tone of the game, the kind of the pace of the game. Like, why aren't we seeing Dublin try new things? Have they actually exhausted all their kind of experimentation options? Are they so at ease with where they're currently at? The answer is probably yes. Like, they've won 4 All-Irelands in a row. There probably isn't that much else they need to do. Are they coming up with plans for these teams behind closed doors? If they are, why aren't they executing them when they're up by tons of points against Meath in Croke Park?
You don't show your hand. You don't need to show your hand. Like, there's a possibility it could be the All-Ireland semi-final before they face a game of any significance this year. I mean,
It's looking like that.
Well, we'll know next Monday. Mayo and Tyrone. We need them.
But they can still lose the game and still make it the
That's
finals.
the thing, yeah. The thing is, we could be in a situation here where we're talking about Mayo and Tyrone in Dublin's group. I would hold fire on writing off the Super 8s group until next Monday.
Yeah.
We will know in a week's time how crap this is going to be. Like, the thing is, we could have Cork versus Westmeath and Cavan versus Offaly as the qualifiers en route to Dublin's group or whatever it may be. So, it's not going to be amazing at the same time. I'm not sure. I think that you look at the way Dublin have coughed up a couple of chances yesterday. I agree with you, the 4 points thing is not a fair representation of the way Meath played yesterday. Obviously, the point kicking was horrific. It was terrible. Points dropping short, terrible. But like the 9% shooting rate in the first half was absolutely shocking. But is there not something about all that should give other teams hope? Where it's like, God, that team went in at the break with a bit of hope and they shot 9%.
Yeah, like Meath had chances. That's the thing. Like Meath's full back line played quite well. They must have played really well, because why isn't Conor O'Callaghan or Paul Mannion saying to themselves, I have a chance to define myself here as, one of the greatest footballers of all time and shooting the lights out. Of course they're saying that. Like, Mannion kicked one of the best points, probably the best point of the day yesterday, and like he wanted to nail that penalty.
Philly's passed that one through.
First half, cut in on the left. Seamus Lavin let him shoot. Like, it was just a brilliant score. Like, Conor O'Callaghan wants to be putting 1-5, 1-6 up. They have to want these things. Like, the Meath defence did quite well, and Meath had chances. Like as we said, like the shooting, it doesn't make sense how bad their shooting was. And some of they're passing into the full forward line. Like, there was 45-yard passes going into a man who's just over 5 foot.
You see this. You see teams do this against Dublin though. Like, I had seen that film before.
Yeah.
Except the jerseys were white.
I know.
And I'm sure
Westmeath have been there twice. Like, Westmeath kicked 6 points against them as well in 2015.
I'm sure if you're a Laois fan or a Carlow fan, you're like, well, actually Carlow did okay against them. They scored 9 points. Your team gets stuck in something. I don't know if it's that the physicality of Dublin is so severe that you know that you're going to take a massive hit. And like, there were people getting crunched a lot. There's those tackles. Niall Scully had a tackle where took the knee to the back, just in the kidneys of one of the Meath lads. You're like, I mean, they're good at that.
Cian O'Sullivan used his hip twice on 2 Meath lads and just stuck them on the floor, like. And it's just that physicality thing. I think Meath are quite light. Like, Andy McEntee has built a team of runners, and they're so mobile, and they're really good at running with the ball. But like, they're just getting battered in some games as well.
Are they going beyond the edge, Dublin? Are referees letting them away with too much?
I don't know if going beyond the edge is it. Like, I tweeted yesterday that it's worth mastering the art of fouling, and it really is. And like, everyone talked, Kevin McStay was calling it really well in the Donegal Tyrone game 2 weeks ago, where he was talking about the hold-up foul when, and managers talk about it all the time in the games now, where you're always trying, like, if you lose the ball, or if they have a kick out or they get a short kick out, foul them and hold them up and let your defence reset. And Dublin have always been doing that. Mm-hmm. And like, I'm sure like teams do it all the time, as you were saying, painting the picture in rugby. Or I saw people tweeting about Man City yesterday, the way they get away with stuff. I don't know whether that's a myth. It's not a myth. Like, they're getting marginal calls.
Yeah.
Like, they've been getting it since 2013 in the All-Ireland final against Mayo.
These are separate things. There's the systemic fouling, which is a tactic, and then there's the marginal calls, which you get because you're the big team, and because you've had that referee has refereed you in big games before, and you've had the opportunity to go and meet him, and it's a familiarity thing, and it happens in all sports, and Dublin obviously need to continue to ride that, and they will while they can. Nathan Murphy has been in touch at Nathan Murph of this parish to say, surely, and this is a good point, well done Nathan, surely what Meath need is a cocky full forward from Meath Hill. Yeah. A ball winner on the full forward line. A big lad.
What height are you, Tommy?
6'2" in match programmes.
That's about 5 inches taller than
I'd say you should be going 6'4" in match programmes.
Yeah. Nathan was doing some serious research during the Leinster final yesterday. Pulled out the fact that the last time a team scored so low in a Leinster final was 1951.
The omens are all there.
He did use the hashtag Omen. Any numbers in the amount of fouls in the midfield area by Dublin? There needs to be more black, yellow cards for this systemic fouling, says Sports News Ireland.
Like the sure stats came out yesterday after the game, and it was 18 Meath fouls, 6 yellow cards, 1 black card, 22 Dublin fouls, no cards. Like, I saw Andy McEntee, you could see him on the big screen, they didn't mean to show up, but they did, remonstrating with one of the linesmen about Brian Fenton not getting a black card, like, for that trip. Like how is that not a black card?
For the penalty?
Yeah, and like...
For the non-penalty?
For the non-penalty, the one that was just out of the box. Like,
it's just a question, why wasn't it? Was it because he was trying to get the ball? Was that?
I don't know. I don't know. Like, I've gotten a lot of black cards in Gaelic football, and I'm not like saying that I wouldn't do something like John Small did 6 minutes into the game where he pulled out Keenan O'Sullivan. I'd done the same thing plenty of times, and I've gotten away with it. Like, but you shouldn't get away with it in Croke Park. Like, if you're doing it in the championship game, you know you're going to get caught because there's going to be umpires and linesmen looking at you. Like, you can get away with it in a bloody league game, but like, you shouldn't be getting away with that. You shouldn't be getting away with like pulling a man down when they're on the break. I don't know. But it happens all the time.
The simple solution is you just have to do the exact same thing against Dublin.
No, you get done for it.
Like,
you do. You get done for it.
Like, you do. You get done for it. You do.
It's not the same.
The Meath player who got booked for marking Cormac Costello, he literally had his own hand around his throat in that, which we've seen Cormac Costello.
Cormac Costello's well fit to look after himself.
And it was like, look at the big screen. And the referee's like, I didn't see it. I mean, I'm just going to book you. Like, that was the classic. There's a pair the minute they both get booked, but they didn't both get booked.
That was Conor McGill, wasn't it? And he had started the game by just getting really aggressive and roughing up Cormac Costello.
But McGill's brilliant. He's a brilliant old school full back.
Yeah.
Seamus Lavin alongside him is so good as well. And like, but again, if you can't get away with it, you can't get away with it. Like, I'm sure like James Conlon was getting a bit of rough treatment in the full forward line as well. And Kieran O'Sullivan got taken out so many times.
I'm sure there is an element here where Dublin are just better at being cynical than other teams.
Yeah.
Like, they're just better at it. They've got more practice at it.
But some players are really good at tackling and getting away with certain things.
Yeah.
Some people have long limbs, like myself, and get booked every time they go near somebody with a tackle. Like, so, like, but Dublin are just very good at doing it. It's like, it sounds like sour grapes, doesn't it?
Well, you can't talk about, because everyone's always going to have sour grapes because Dublin are always going to win now. So
do you know what the worst thing about it though? And I realised it yesterday. The worst thing about losing to Dublin is that when they celebrate a point, the fans don't go, yes. They go, oh, hey, in your face. And it's just...
When they celebrated that Mickey Newman point near the end of the Dublin fans, which was kind of funny. It was actually... I don't know, it's a real sort of skill to be able to build up if you're an opposition kicker going into the cauldron that is Dublin's home ground, Croke Park, at the moment, and kicking into the hill, because I just kind of noticed it as well, just being in Páirc Uí Chaoimh on Saturday night, for, as I said, the 4 minutes when it was a cauldron, the jeering of I think it was Sean O'Shea taking one of the frees because the Cork fans felt that the referee was being unjust. Like, that sort of practice is really important, because you're suddenly playing a championship campaign where you're not getting any of those moments, and then boom, all of a sudden you're in Croke Park up against the Dubs, and you're feeling this completely alien thing, because they are the only support in the country that systematically jeer the opposition kickers. To be fair, it's because we can hear it, because we've got a wall of sound behind the goals. It is a complete and utter advantage against any kicker that goes into Croke Park, especially when it's someone someone who's playing for Meath, who haven't been in Leinster finals for a long time. And that is a skill that people need to build up. You need to go into their home ground, Croke Park, many times and fail many times before you can actually get one over them.
I want you to call these games for you now. So the recap, if you just joined this, and loads of people are just tuning in now to OTB AM, it's 9 minutes past 9 this morning. Kildare against Tyrone, Mayo against Armagh, Westmeath against Clare, and Laois against Offaly. The games are in Newbridge, Westport, Mullingar, and
Castlebar, Newbridge, Mullingar, and Portage. Yeah.
I've got a feeling Mayo could be the only home winner.
Really?
I've got a feeling Tyrone are going to win in Newbridge, Clare are going to go and win in Mullingar. Offaly, Laois is a tough one to call, but I think Laois will beat Offaly.
I'm calling Westmeath, Offaly, Tyrone.
Are you calling Tyrone? Are Tyrone all that?
I think I'm calling Tyrone.
I thought Kildare were going to struggle against Antrim, and I've changed my mind.
I think so did I. Like, Corrigan Park isn't the easiest place to go, but they seem to play really well. They seem to be quite slick going forward. Jimmy Hyland.
Well, it didn't start.
Did he not?
No.
I thought he started.
There was an injury after 13 minutes, and he comes on, and you're like, oh, look, this guy's really good. I mean, maybe he should start a game. He might be the best forward we have by a mile. Stick him in the team.
Yeah.
So what are you saying? Mayo, Tyrone, Clare, Laois? You're going for Mayo, Tyrone, Westmeath, Laois.
Armagh, my favourite team in the country. Yeah.
You're tipping Armagh to win in Castlebar?
I'm not tipping them, but I can't wait to see that game. It's going to be absolutely fantastic.
Pick a winner.
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to give myself enough reason to back Armagh. Get me on closer to the game and I'll try and do it.
Armagh 5-2 as it stands at the moment to win that game.
That's big outside. I think people kind of forget.
It has to be Mayo. It has to be.
Yeah, 5-point win in Newry is extremely impressive. Like the situation where they've still managed to solidify midfield and put in a brilliant midfield performance despite not having Matthew Ruan is another impressive thing.
They're missing Ruan, James Shea, Ciarán O'Connor's going to come back.
That's the big question. That could be the question that defines the summer potentially. Certainly from Mayo's perspective is where's Ciarán O'Connor at? How far away is he from full fitness of injuries? What's keeping him out?
Who's Mayo's free taker when Ciarán O'Connor isn't there?
Cohen.
Like we saw Kevin McLaughlin missing the free against Roscommon. Cohen got black carded early yesterday. They need him back.
All right, so Leisure favourites, Westmeath are home favourites to win, Mayo heavy favourites 5-2 on, and Kildare are 9-4. Tyrone are 9-4 on to win that one. So that is the draw for the qualifiers. That is the post-mortem for Meath. I mean, look, everybody, there's this huge debate about the money because Marty did that feature which was ask some questions that might be difficult, particularly of the Director General of the GAA, who's just there, just giving his spiel, and there's no challenge to him at all. No sense that investing money was going to have an outcome.
Yeah.
We didn't know, we couldn't foresee that industrialising the process of organising talent would have an impact on the quality of the talent that comes through. That's the whole point of it. I mean, the whole point of it is to increase participation, but automatically that increases the number of good players and keeps them at it. And so there should have been, that piece could have been good, and it wasn't. What was I talking about?
We just predicted the entire qualifier draw.
Yeah.
We'd spoken about Mayo and how their summer is still back on track. And we basically came to the conclusion that Mayo might well be back. I mean, the 51 omen is running through here. And I still maintain this is a fantastic draw for Mayo. They needed another good team. And they need to go racing into the Super 8s. The thing is, that might mean they're very confident. They might run out of steam early.
Yeah, I think I don't have a really good chance of winning that.
Yeah. Yeah.
The role that they're on at the minute, the noise and the music coming out of Mayo.
When are your power rankings out?
Tomorrow?
Ooh, can't wait for that.
Well, number 2 team in the country, Donegal. How come nobody tweeted me at the weekend saying, well done, good job, correct, Donegal clearly representing themselves as the number 2 team in the country? Nobody tweeted me. Whereas the previous week when Tyrone got knocked off their perch, number 2 had about 40 tweets.
I heard people talking about it in Croke Park.
No nameless, faceless trolls tweeting me.
Yeah.
Somebody else did as well.
Yeah.
Right.
I heard power rankings being uttered, and I couldn't be talking about anything else. Like, it must be Owen Jean's power rankings.
I think we were called clueless. See you next Tuesdays on Reddit.
Hey.